striking.
All right, welcome back. We are here again for episode, what is this, 19?
19.
20, 19?
Unless we're counting the Halloween episode.
See, I'm trying to figure this out. Right?
19 and a half.
We're starting off hot.
I'm saying it here. You heard it here first. This is episode 19 of the Loosely Related podcast currently.
19 of 20 episodes that we put out.
So,
of 20, well, we're stopping at 20?
20, yeah.
Well, we put out,
of 20?
we technically put out 20.
Yeah.
Okay.
But,
okay, right, I got
technically put out 20.
I thought you were capping us. I thought you said of 20.
That's it, we're done.
Of 20. No
we didn't
more.
want to tell you, Rob, till you got here onto the show, but we're done at 20.
We're done at 20.
We already
That was
discussed
the
the fact that I can't count much past, 26 I said, right?
Yeah.
You said you were going to start hitting the books again.
I didn't. So, but I'm still okay because we still got 6 more episodes, and then I can start.
Exactly.
Okay.
But anyway, let me welcome everybody back. We hope you really enjoyed our Halloween special episode. I want to thank you everyone who watched it. I hope you guys liked it. Brian did an amazing job editing. I mean, if we could just give him a little pat on the back to him.
Yes, we did.
Here's your pat, Brian.
Yeah. It's so it's November 2nd, 2019. And I did look down at the date to make sure I was correct. I'll be honest.
I wasn't even thinking about the date.
Fact checking.
I'm glad I didn't have to say
gotta
it.
make
I would
sure.
Screwed that up.
But as always, I am joined by my co-hosts. I'm joined by my dad, Joe. What's going on?
Not much. Same old stuff, man. Looking forward to the episode. Should be exciting. I think it's going to be fun to talk about.
I think
the
so.
things we're going to talk about, and yeah, it's going to be fun. I can't wait.
I know, man. And then, of course, Rob is over right across from me.
Rob.
What's going on, Robert?
Hey, fellas, what's
He's
up?
here. Rob is here.
Thanks for having me back again for episode 19.
You're welcome.
We renewed his contract.
We did. We went to a dispute.
One more episode. We signed him for one more episode.
We did.
Right?
For one more.
I'm looking for a contract extension.
He's holding out. He's holding out. He's pulling a Le'Veon Bell.
He's a Le'Veon Bell of loosely related.
Yeah, exactly.
I was looking for a
Rightfully
trade.
so.
Yep.
And then, of course, in the back, we have our producer, Brian. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Brian.
Hey-o.
It's cold. It's early. And I'm feeling
It is
great.
cold. It is crazy cold.
He just sent out an Instagram. I don't know if you saw the Instagram that he sent out.
I look like an ice climber.
He looks like climbing Mount Everest.
You literally do with the headphones on. Yeah.
And then the jacket, which isn't on right now, but
the straight up North Face jacket.
You have to remember, we're in my basement. And my basement is it's cold down here.
It's unfinished. There's no walls at all. There's nothing. These are not real walls.
Yeah, these are not real. They're all fake. It's all a
What?
mirage.
Yep.
It's all a mirage.
This isn't real?
This is not real, believe it or not.
no, we're outside.
And you might have seen from the
I thought
one
we were in London.
when I took that little shot last week during Halloween, getting ready for it, and I posted it on Facebook. It was I took a shot around and you could see the bare walls, parts of it. And we had a flood here 4 years ago. We had a flood.
Oh yeah, a bad flood.
Bad flood.
That was bad.
Out.
Yeah.
You've had some water in here before. That was a straight up flood.
That
was bad.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Remember we had the tornado not too long ago, and that was we didn't get as much of a flood, but even that we got lucky. That was last year. Yeah, last summer.
That was on my way.
We had I don't know, maybe 6 years ago it was where we had a shit ton of snow.
Snow was the crazy snow.
Big, huge. Remember we had those multiple 12-inch snowstorms.
Yes, back,
and then, back
skip a day, back to back, skip a day, back to back.
On the last one, we had
that was bad.
20 or 30 inches of snow on the ground outside, and then it got warm and rained.
Yeah.
Do you know how scary that is for you when you're only 65 inches tall?
Yeah.
When it snows that bad? I can go out at any day and somebody might not find me again.
Yeah, no, that's true.
That's why I always wear a poof on top of my hat. So you see a little red poof, you start digging in that area.
You get one of those bicycle flags when you're walking around, so the bicycle flags flopping back and forth behind you. There's Rob. I see him. He's there. Go get him.
Oh my God! He broke his leash. Oh my God!
You have to send Bear out after him.
Oh my God! Bear wouldn't. He'd run right out and get hit by a car.
But that year, man, the water was literally coming in. I have a well in the back, and there's a pipe that comes up from the well, and the water was actually coming up from the ground, flooding through that pipe and just flowing like a waterfall into the basement.
Yeah,
it was so
wiped out the basement.
It wiped out the basement, and we had a nice finished basement here at one time.
Yeah, it was beautiful, man.
It was nice.
I had to tear it all out, and one of these days,
Yep.
I'm going to show you the progression of it because I'm going to build it back up again, make it nice again.
Sort of like our podcast.
I have to tear it all down.
Sort of like tear it down.
Right, that's why we build it back up. That's right.
Build them up, break them down.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
But yeah, so I mean, I figured one of the big things, we had a busy week. I was thinking about our past 3 episodes, crazy busy. We had Ray on our podcast come on and talk about
awesome.
the interview, and that was great. We had our Halloween segment. We had all these different episodes tied in. So I thought today would be a little bit more just kind of like a laid back sort of like our thing,
right?
Chill episode.
Sure. Well, isn't that what we normally do? We usually just chill out.
We usually just chill.
Yeah.
The only thing that's happened
we usually
because,
just ourselves.
Yeah, well, pretty much. The only difference is that because we started shooting earlier in the mornings now, we don't have as many beers around. And
no, I know.
We
don't drink in the morning.
Which is so professional.
Yeah,
of course, I want to be professional.
And it also shows that we're not as big of alcoholics as you may think
we do.
based on the earlier episodes.
We can stop.
Yes, we are. We are capable.
Yeah. But anyway, so I thought
this is just coffee in here.
Just coffee.
Irish coffee.
Definitely no Baileys in it. No. But
I
know,
not yet, anyway.
But one of the cool things I know, right now, we kind of actually, it sort of worked out. The last time I hosted a while back, I think it was exactly 8 weeks ago today. It was the last time I hosted, and it was the start of the fantasy football season.
Sure.
So I thought it'd be kind of fun. Literally, we are at the midpoint. I think week 8 just ended. Mm-hmm. So I know the NFL season is 17 weeks, but
no, it's halfway.
16 weeks.
Yeah.
So we are exactly halfway as of right now.
For
the
us,
NFL,
really, right?
And for
us,
14
and 15
it's
playoffs?
15 and 16 are playoffs.
15, all right.
Actually.
So we are definitely
14, 15, and 16.
Okay, so we're definitely half.
We are
for
definitely
us.
for us we're halfway exactly.
Yeah.
So I thought it'd be kind of cool to maybe just do a little quick little recap fantasy football season. We had our little draft here, which unfortunately we didn't finish.
We didn't finish the
No,
draft.
we're so lazy. We're
know.
we're coming back on this. We're gonna bring it back. Is this still somewhere? Do we still even
we
have
have
it?
people
I
out
don't
there.
even know.
We have people out there who watched our podcast. That one spiked on us on the YouTube, and they're out there saying, "Oh, I can't wait to see the next episode, see how they turned out." And we never followed up on it. We do that a lot. We have to start following up.
We got to
on
start
shit,
following
man.
up on that. Yeah.
But
so I don't know if that is somewhere.
If
but
anybody's at home and still following it, let us know where we're at.
Yeah, exactly.
If you still have if we did it on Sleeper, it saves the drafts.
Okay, cool. All right, so
So
maybe
it's
we will
probably
go do that.
there.
We'll do it the second half of the season. That's what we'll do.
I'm
Let's not
looking at our
promise.
draft from the from the
all right,
Hudson
cool.
Valley
Brian's gonna have to go
football.
into his tomb
It's
and dig
still
it
here.
up for us.
Yeah,
You
it's
still
still
got it,
here.
Brian?
No,
It's still
it will
there?
save.
Yeah.
No way. That's pretty cool.
Is it tracking or we just did picks?
We never finished our picks.
It's paused.
Paused. It's paused.
All right,
It's
so
like
we'll
this
be back
podcast
in
is
2020, 2021 with that.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I thought it'd be kind of cool. So I know one of the big things obviously is the halfway through the fantasy season, everybody has their busts, everybody has their sleepers. Oh, did this guy really blow up the way you thought he was going to blow up?
Right.
Did this guy who you thought was going to be amazing? So
you were hot on, right?
I did a little top 5 list just for the sleepers and busts. I was just going to quickly, if you guys don't mind, kind of hijack the show a bit.
We
go
mind.
through my top
We mind.
5
I'm sorry.
real quick.
We mind. We're gonna have to change.
So when you
Saturday.
say bust show, you're talking about just for your sleepers and stuff. So what, people that you picked in later rounds that you thought would be big? Or?
Yeah, well, you know what I was thinking for bust? I was honestly just thinking, as a matter of fact, sort of the opposite. The guys
people are highly rated,
who you took highly rated guys.
Oh,
who
How about
right.
because it would be cool. I kind of was interested in talking about maybe each position going from quarterback, running back.
Oh
wide
yeah, if
receiver,
you want to
tight
do
end.
that, yeah.
And
that could be
that's
interesting.
basically it, right?
Pick one sleeper and one bust for each
one guy
position.
that we thought was going to be good and turned out to be nothing.
Yeah.
And one guy who
for each position, you're saying. Yeah.
But so if you're talking about busts, you're talking about the early ones, right? Yeah. So
You're
busts
talking
are
about your
people who
first
are
two-
highly touted.
the guys you picked in the first 2 rounds that just turned out to be nothing or bust.
So I mean, you might there might be some overlap between that and my list here, but but if you guys don't mind, I was just gonna go through real quick my top 5 real fast. Maybe we could discuss it like what you said. So as of right now, these are my Joey's biggest busts of the season so far. Just so far, these guys could turn it around. Now that's the whole thing, right? We are only in week 8. They could turn it around.
They could, yeah.
But I got to be honest with you. I know that Rob just kind of had a big trade for this guy, but my number 1 bust on the year so far was Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah.
Odell Beckham.
I had to say,
For wide receiver, sure.
At the start of the season, he was 5th in the ADP, which is the average draft position for wide receivers in PPR. He is currently ranked 29th on the season, and the craziest thing is he's played every game. He's not hurt.
Right.
He's
that's
played
true.
every game, full snap, full participant, 100% of the snaps.
And he went to a team in Cleveland where everyone was highly. And I didn't know the guy. I
didn't even think of that. Yeah,
he went to Cleveland and you had Baker Mayfield. And a lot of leagues, even Baker Mayfield was picked up in an early 1, 2, or 3 rounds.
Yeah.
I think in our sleeper bot he was picked up in the 4th round.
Yeah,
and he turned out to be
Yeah.
he's showing what I thought he was actually going to be when they drafted him number 1 pick overall.
Right.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Was it 2 years ago? 1 year ago?
Yeah.
I was surprised they picked him. I
Is
was
he
like,
doing
this
that badly
guy's not
though?
that
He's
good.
still
now-
top 20 QBs. Isn't
He's
he?
so I
I
mean
don't
he's
even
currently
think he
29th.
is.
He's 29th right now. Now
Baker
what I will
Mayfield?
say is this.
Yeah.
Oh, Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield
I think
is
he's
still
still in the
top
top
20.
20, right?
Yeah, he's not as bad, but I just think that he was like touted as like possibly going to be like
Well, I
an
mean-
MVP candidate. I heard someone toss out MVP candidate
Really? I
for
don't
Baker
know.
Mayfield.
I didn't know he was
Start of the
like.
season.
I don't know how high people were on him, but I know when you have the expectations of being on the Browns, any
Yeah.
little hope is like pretty damn
Right.
exciting. You
That's
know
what
I mean?
I'm saying. Yeah, it's
They've
almost
had just
it's
been
almost
straight shit on.
yeah, it's like unfair
Baker
to him,
Mayfield
honestly.
is presently on Sleeperbot PPR for PPR, I think.
Well, that was-
Yeah, he's
what
got
it
to
said
still be.
for.
in the top
Yeah.
20.
He
Right.
is ranked. It doesn't have.
Well,
the
PPR
number
for a
here.
quarterback doesn't. I mean, no. Well,
Doesn't
no,
make a
you
difference
passed
that
to
much,
yourself.
man.
I passed to myself.
Yeah, all
I
the
used to
time.
I played quarterback. I used to
If you
only
can get
pass.
really fast, you throw it up and you give yourself a Hail Mary. We know that move.
Exactly.
And
Just
catch it
Yeah.
yourself.
straight up in
Yep.
the air, catch it. But
What
that's-
if you
that's
flea flick it
crazy.
though and they throw it and then you catch it?
Flea flicker.
They
Oh,
do that move.
They do that. Remember
Yeah,
Nick
no,
Foles had the
Philly
touchdown
special.
catch? Yeah, the Nick. Yeah,
Philly
yeah.
special, yeah.
Nick
Yeah, it
Foles
still
had that
goes-
that was in the Super Bowl,
It's
wasn't
Super
it?
Bowl, yeah.
Super Bowl, yeah.
He
So-
actually made the call too. If you see the NFL films, like he goes up to his coach and goes like, "You want this?" And he's like, "Yeah, let's do it."
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hell yeah. That's so sick, man. I like that. But so that was my first one. My number 2, I'm just going to go through these quick, Dad. We'll go back to all because I do
All
want
right, yeah, go ahead.
my number 2 is kind of funny. We've talked about it before on the podcast. I had to mention it is Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown, obviously crazy. You can call it a bust. You can call it a letdown. You can call it a disappointment, whatever. But the guy started off the season, even like before he was even really on the team at the time, right? Or no, he was still having all the issues. He was still like in the top 20 in ADP for wide receivers. Now he's obviously nothing, and he's nowhere. Yeah. So there's a lot of people I think in our league for fantasy I think he was taken in like the 3rd or 4th round.
Right.
And
Yeah.
talk about a waste of a draft pick.
Yep.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, it's crazy. So my number 3rd bust of the year was Mr. O.J. Howard, the tight end for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Right.
This is a personal bust for me,
Team guy, yeah.
a personal real issue. He was supposed to be like a top 5 tight end on the year. He's currently 40th. And again, this is a guy who has not been injured. I think he might have missed one game with an injury. He's played the whole season. He was supposed to be like a crazy tight end. He was a like top 3 draft pick. And he's just absolutely terrible. And it's killed my team. That was my tight end. I remember being so happy. I got him in like the 5th round. I was like, oh my God, it's amazing. He's terrible. And then again, another player I have, like my team this year has just been decimated by guys who just didn't live up to their potential. And then we have Joe Mixon on the Bengals.
Yeah.
He was at the start of the season supposed to be like a top 10 running back potentially. He's currently ranked 33rd in PPR for running backs. And then this is a big one. Number 5 is Devontae Adams, wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers.
It's typical, though.
He was literally at the start of the season ranked number 2 for wide receivers for
Oh,
in
yeah,
PPR.
yeah.
He is currently
He's had injuries and stuff.
He's had some injuries, but I just feel like for that, like he was a first. There were people taking him in the top 5 in their
Oh, for
draft.
sure. For sure.
He
Yeah.
is-
He was like the
yeah,
first one or two.
He was like the first 1 or 2.
Yeah,
I mean,
wide
obviously
receivers.
he's been injured and all that, but he's obviously currently 60th ranked. But it's just like that is devastating. He was every year. There's always that one guy taking it in the first round who just like he gets hurt, he's out the whole year, and he was that this year. I had to mention it, and that's my my top 5 biggest bust. So
Really?
Biggest bust.
yeah, what do you got? You guys, what's your like, Rob? If you had to have like a number like big bust that you can think of, like your guy that you like, what the hell happened?
Usually for me, it's every year I have the injury bug.
Yeah.
So that's usually what happens. My first 2 players are injured somehow in the first day.
Yeah.
I think my biggest bust was like 15 years ago when I ended up meeting your dad, and I could have went the road to just moving
Right.
on and just
Yeah.
haven't had a coworker, but I decided to make friends with him.
Yep.
And now my social life is a bust.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Including
There's that. Well, this year, honestly, like I was thinking about some of those trades that we made. We were just talking about Odell, and I know we did the trade. Your father and I did the trade. I picked up Garoppolo because my quarterbacks weren't great.
Yeah,
so I
right,
was kind of hurting in that area. And they were on the lower end. I think they were like 10 out of 12 ranked for our division. So
Okay.
I was hurting in that area.
Yeah.
And I had good wide receivers. I had very good running backs. And I knew I know not everybody was high on him, but from Seattle, the wide receiver, Trey Lockett. I knew he was going to be consistent this
Dude,
year.
You
I
said
knew he
that.
was going to get
When
fed.
you drafted him, you're like, I think he's going to be huge this year. You called that. That's right.
And he was super consistent.
Yeah.
But I made the trade anyway because I'm like in the middle of the pack.
Yeah.
And I know that even though I think Tyler Lockett's floor is better than Odell Beckham, he'll never be as explosive when he does blow up.
Yeah,
Odell
sure.
Beckham is more talented.
Yeah, a higher ceiling, definitely.
But
for sure, right?
so I needed something just to like take a risk, and I did that the other day too. Like some of the people that we just been picking up on the waiver wire seems kind of crazy this year. Yeah. So like we all had that fantasy. We all have the sleeper.
Yes.
And every time I see your guys' names pop up, I'm like, son of a bitch, Joey Tubes is picking up someone on free agency. I get on there so quick, or I see. I see your dad's on there. Darthos, this asshole. Who did he pick up on waiver?
Picked up random.
I was gonna get him. I always did that. I pick it up as soon as I saw. Oh, like crap! Who was out there?
Oh,
Who did I miss?
It's crazy.
So
you can never relax, right? You can never just hang out at a party. Like, oh my god, do you hear that sound go off? Like SleeperBot has a very distinctive. It has SleeperBot has 4 different notification sounds, and each one of them has a big meaning. And if you're a fantasy guy, you hear that, you're like. You could be on the other side. The other side
Your
of town, and you're like,
up.
"Oh no! Oh my God! What happened?"
So last night I did something similar. I went and I picked up Josh Gordon.
Oh yeah, cool, right.
I dropped Scanlon, so I was like, who I actually paid.
No, you
Fab
you
with
traded,
at one point.
No, isn't Valdez you traded? I traded Valdez too, didn't I?
No, you dropped him.
No, you dropped.
I picked him up and then I
right,
dropped him.
Right.
I kind of was like, because I did put Fab on him. I think 10 Fab bucks or
way
something.
Too much to put on him. I don't think
I needed a wide receiver. He did well for me that game. So.
Yeah.
I mean, it was $10 for a win, basically.
He's a little bit of a
because I won.
I thought he was.
For Scanlon.
Well, for me it was because I thought Geronimo Allison was going to be their major guy.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that was weird because you didn't know.
A little bit of a bust for me or a letdown.
Yeah,
because he was
very
late.
least, right?
You didn't know with that team because when you lost who's their main guy?
Devontae Adams.
Devontae
yeah,
Adams.
Of course.
That's the bust. That's a bust, right? That's a bust.
And you had Geronimo. You thought he was going to step and be the guy. Then
I
everyone was talking about
good,
Marquez Valdez. And
you
had good games with him in the early parts, right? He had a few big games.
And you were talking. Aaron Rodgers was talking that guy up.
Yeah,
like he was talking. He's the best. He's so good.
He's probably doing his own fantasy. He's the man.
And that's the reason why I picked him up because I heard all the chatter and
Aaron Rodgers seduced you.
The chatting from
he did
it blew him up.
Like
he was just going to throw the ball to him all the time, nobody else.
Yeah, I had him last year.
And then I picked him up.
Yeah, he got 3. He had 3 straight 10-point weeks.
Yeah,
and then he kind of dropped off.
That's kind of like this year, right? A little bit, sort of. Yeah.
Is our fat guy back there with a phone and not a laptop?
Our
what
fat
the hell is happening?
Our fat guy
you look naked to me right now.
This thing's basically a computer. I mean,
no, it is.
Pretty much,
but I was just gonna hit you up. That's an interesting conversation to talk about, Bust. Like, what do we think of Aaron Rodgers this year?
So, I mean, you remember in that episode, I was kind of sort of shit talking Aaron Rodgers a little bit. I said I don't think it's going to be as good. Of course, now he had that record-breaking game where he had all that crazy shit.
Why don't we go through each position around the table and see what we think of each position?
Yeah, that sounds good to
wide
me.
receiver.
I like that.
You spoke about your wide receiver.
Well, you know what? Before we do that, let me do my I'll do my biggest surprises, and then we'll do that. I just might as well.
Before we do that, why don't you tell us about why don't you tell the people out there where they can find us?
Oh, okay. Well, if you want
roaming the streets of Newburgh.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to be. You can find us in this basement. You can find us here because there's no walls, as we said. You can see us right from the street.
Yes, you can.
If you want to watch this episode, you want to catch us our Halloween special, our interview with the corrections officer Ray that we had, a former Rikers Island corrections officer. Yeah, you can find us at looselyrelatedpodcast.com. You can also find us at our Instagram, loosely_related. You can find us on Twitter at LRPodcast. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and you can watch us on YouTube. So check us out. And with that being said, we're going to get into Joey's biggest surprises of the year so far. This is something that I always love doing every single year. I love to just talk about the guys that I had no clue. Like, everybody likes to pretend like and everybody... Everybody likes to pretend
everybody that's sitting in the middle of this table right now.
Let me just say this right now. I have 5 names. I will lay money on it right now. My dad's going to say, no, I knew he was going to be good
I heard
for
that.
all 5 of them.
I heard whispers.
I
was out at the coffee shop. I heard people chatting about him.
Exactly.
I'm probably the one who told you about these guys.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm saying. See, he didn't even know I had this list, but he knew I had this list. That's what I'm saying.
He subconsciously put it in your mind.
Exactly.
I tell these guys things, and then they forget them, and then they do this to me.
Exactly. Yep.
So
anyway, what I would say is that my number one surprise on the year, and I think a lot of people probably said this. I knew he was a good quarterback. I never would have thought he would have been as good as he is this year. But that is Lamar Jackson, the quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens. Now that one you did draft him, and I will give you credit.
I picked him up.
You did draft him.
Give him a little credit before he starts crying.
Now I want to explain something here because I'm doing the draft in my house upstairs in my living room. Rob's there, Joe's there, my other son's in my sleeper bot league, and we're all gathered. And my brother-in-law John's there. And we're all doing our picks, and I'm like just saying, "Oh God, you guys are missing." And these guys are all snickering, and "Oh, here he goes again."
Yeah,
and
like
yeah, exactly.
And they do it every year.
We do it to all of us.
But you know what? And they're right.
To each other.
And I probably deserve it every year because every year my team sucks.
Yeah.
And I get all of these players that, like I say, are sleepers and are going to be really good, and I'm going to get them late.
They're just asleep.
And my team's. I've been in my league 7 years. I've never won.
7 years.
This
Joe goes so deep, he's looking for comas.
He's looking for guys.
Got
that
any
are
comas out there?
Is anybody who's in a coma right now? That's gonna wake up.
This team, this year, my team is really, really good.
But you're having a great year. As a matter of fact,
I'm taking back my trade. I boosted you too much.
I know, but literally in our.
I don't regret it though. It's still okay. It was still fine.
I honestly think the trade was fair.
Yeah.
No, it was fair. I don't deny.
I don't think it was.
Nobody trades, so it's like, we'll take a trade. It's part of the game, and it's a whole. You take a dynamic out of the whole thing.
I'm curious about what that trade was. I had Odell Beckham on my team,
right?
And I wanted a more consistent wide receiver. I suppose
that's usually what I look for, consistency.
And I wanted to get sort of rid of him, actually. You know, at the time I wanted to get rid of him.
I say no offense. That's what you do. You want to get rid of bums.
But I mean,
it's not your fault I took him. Whatever.
Right, and it was earlier in the season, and he was doing okay, but not for
he's not blowing up.
Yeah. But there's always a chance that he will still blow up.
Well, that's
why
I took him.
I'm giving away a big name. And I picked up Tyler Lockett from you.
Right.
And I also traded away. I had 3 quarterbacks. We have a 2-quarterback league.
Right, I got Garoppolo.
And I had Garoppolo. It was also great. He was my 3rd quarterback. No. So I figured
his team is good. He's not great.
Good. Yeah, and he's a consistent. He's not like he's going to – I think he's going to be much better now that he has Emmanuel Sanders.
Well, let me get through the rest of this list real quick. Just I want to try to get this moving along so we can get to that wide receiver, tight end, But Lamar Jackson, like I said, he was an average 9th-round pick. I think people knew he was going to be good. Like I said, he was a first-round pick in the actual NFL draft when he came in, and he was a good quarterback. But I think if you would have told me at the beginning of the season that Lamar Jackson was going to be a top 3 quarterback, which is where he's ranked currently, I would have said there's no way. He doesn't even have weapons, but apparently he does because he just makes weapons for himself.
Well, he's his own weapon because he runs for 100 yards.
He's the freaking Rick Grimes of the NFL, just making weapons for himself.
What makes him valuable is what makes
Russell
Wilson valuable is that he runs for 100 yards a game.
That's the other thing too. He runs
he's like,
when you got legs,
he's probably in rushing yards. He's probably in the top 20, I bet, in rushing. For in running backs.
Exactly.
But that's what makes him valuable. And he's not a great quarterback. I picked him up in the 7th round.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And so the number 2 I have, my biggest surprise of the year is Austin Eckler, the running back for the
I got him
Los
on my
Angeles
other team. I'm
Chargers.
killing it with him.
He blew up because Melvin Gordon was a holdout for like the first half of the season, and again he was like an average 4th-round pick, which is pretty good. But I just never would have predicted him to be. He's currently a top 3 running
Austin
back.
Eckler in our league was picked in the 1st round.
In the first round. Are you sure about that?
He was the 8th pick in the 1st round of our sleeper pod.
Who picked him?
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, Joey Tubes.
You picked him?
Oh,
in the 1st round.
And which one?
Sleeper bot, our league. You picked him up in the
what
first
league?
round.
In what league? I'm saying.
Sleeper bot, our league.
In the Hudson Valley?
Hudson
No,
Valley.
I don't have Austin Eckler.
I'm looking at it right now.
I think I know my fantasy football
This
team,
is
and I
getting
don't
strange.
have Austin Eckler.
Right.
I appreciate.
Right
I
here.
hope you know your team.
Oh no, wait. Austin Eckler was.
I
This
think
is
I know
why.
my
This is why we
football
snicker at him.
My bad.
I know that I'm not the world's greatest fan.
Let me tell you who you have on your
but I
team.
do think I know my team.
Where was he?
I'm killing it on my other team.
You know who you have on
you until I
You know
find
who's
out
really
where
good
it
on
was
your
actually
team? You
picked
know
up.
who you have? You have Morgan Freeman. I heard he's killing it this year. I don't think I have Morgan. No, you do. You have Morgan Freeman. He was great. He was really good in Bruce Almighty.
He was one of your big sleepers.
I'm killing it in my Yahoo fantasy. I have Austin Eckler and Austin Hooper, and they're both beating people down.
That's crazy, man. Well, that's funny. I was gonna mention. You know, it's funny. I was going to put my biggest surprise, Austin Hooper, but you know what? A lot of people did kind of predict he was going to have a big year. He wasn't that big of a surprise. The other tight end I'm about to mention definitely did, but this guy is just having an insane year right now. DJ Chark, the wide receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That's a surprise.
He was undrafted in like 80% NFL leagues. He was an undrafted player.
I didn't know who he was. I was whoever I was
no
playing
idea
last week. I think he had him as a wide receiver.
Yeah.
I'm like, who the hell is
It's crazy. He's currently a top 5 wide receiver in PPR. Wow. It's unbelievable how good that guy's doing. Right, and then number 4, again, I got to give my dad credit here. This was the first tight end that he took.
Let me just correct what I said before, because I was reading yours and I looked at it quickly and I was on the wrong part of the page.
You think?
I see that.
Your first pick was Ezekiel Elliott.
Yes.
That makes a lot more sense.
Austin Eckler.
I got Ezekiel Elliott real quick with the 8th pick in the draft.
That's a good pick.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
And he had that holdout issue in the beginning,
holdout issue as well, yeah.
Austin Eckler was picked up as a RB2 in the
4th round, I believe.
In the 8th round.
Oh, 8th round, okay. There you go.
8th round, 7th pick.
There you go. So look at that.
Yeah.
And he's currently a top 3 running back.
Yeah.
So then my number 4 biggest surprise, I got to give my dad credit again. This was the first tight end that he drafted. It is Darren Waller, the tight end for the are they still Oakland Raiders? No,
Oakland Raiders.
They're still Oakland Raiders, right? Yeah, yeah. And so he was an average 10th round pick. The guy's number 2 tight end on the season right now. Like that is just blows my mind. I didn't even know who he was. I remember when you drafted him, I said, "Who the hell is Darren Waller?"
Yeah.
And you were like, "Yeah, no, that's my go-to tight end."
Actually, I didn't even draft a tight end. Let me see if I did.
Even if you didn't, you definitely picked him up, which is even
off
crazier.
Waivers.
That's even crazier. So that means that he wasn't even drafted. He's currently number 2. That's even more of a surprise. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I didn't even.
And then again, though, but like my dad, this is why I kind of, if you can tell where I'm going with this, right now my dad's season is currently like the best. He's having the best ever, and that's because my number 5 pick is the Patriots defense, which again my dad drafted.
No, I didn't.
Right? Or
I
no,
picked them off waivers too.
Again, picked them up off of waivers, and they are just.
And I picked them up the first week, and then I dropped them. And, it was
they
funny.
That's
a funny story because
NFL season.
Like I said, and I'm going to promote them again. My favorite podcast is the Fantasy Footballers podcast, and I always hear them. They were talking about it, but then I heard the Patriots before the season started. Their first game was against the Steelers, and Tom Brady said, direct quote, to Ben Roethlisberger, he has to get through our defense. It's going to paraphrase. I'm going to destroy them, basically.
Oh, okay.
So I think to myself, if you have enough confidence, say that about your defense.
And Tom Brady knows his shit. If anybody knows his shit, it's Tom Brady.
So I said, all right, let me pick them up.
Oh wow.
And then I dropped them.
Yeah.
I think I dropped them. But I ended up getting them back. But I had them all year. I've never.
And
they're like one of my best players.
They're like one of your top 5 players, and they're a defense.
Yeah, I think they're overall ranked by points.
Number 1. They are.
If you compare them against the whole league, they're like the 5th or 6th ranked.
That's hilarious.
By points.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, it's insane.
That's hilarious. But like they're having a historic season. So anyway, that's my top 5 biggest surprises on the year. Besides that, we kind of already did quarterback. What do we not do? We didn't really do. I mean, like, there's 2 running backs for every position, right? So I kind of like quarterback. I think that we could probably all agree that Lamar Jackson's probably the number 1 biggest surprise for quarterback.
Sleeper,
yeah. I mean, and I think that the biggest. So who's the biggest bust for quarterbacks? Do you think?
I think right now Baker Mayfield.
I was going to say Baker Mayfield as well. I think Baker Mayfield.
Oh, so I'm looking at him now. I wanted to look at him. Yeah, he is out of the top. Holy crap.
Yeah.
For this week, he's 25.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
I didn't think he was that bad.
Just based on where he was supposed to be.
How about Gardner Minshew? Minshew Magic.
I was going to
he's a sleeper. I would put him in a sleeper.
I was going to put him
in he's not a bust. I'm saying he's a surprise.
Yeah, he's a surprise or a sleeper. No one knew who I would have.
I love his insane outfits. He like jogging suits and headbands and crap. He's like the Napoleon Dynamite of the NFL.
You know what about? I think that we summoned Gardner Minshew because he like appeared right after our Florida Man segment on that one episode, and he is the Florida Man. Like he literally is.
Yeah. Now we say Patrick Mahomes is a bust.
So I was going to put him on there, but I love Pat Mahomes, and I feel bad.
He's a bust because he was injured. And if he was still playing, he would be in the top 5
exactly.
right now.
And he still had an amazing season. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't think you say that.
What about Matt Ryan?
No, I don't think so. Matt Ryan, I think, is like up and down, and that's the problem. Because
the
thing is,
he was a 4th
round pick in our draft. I would consider him a bust.
In our draft. I don't know. For me personally, I think he has the opportunity to do that, but. Let's move on to wide receivers real quick. Let's move on to because we didn't really get to talk about it too much. Besides Odell Beckham and Devontae Adams, who else would you say is a pretty decent sized bust this year? I mean,
I wouldn't say a bust, but Juju's not helping me lately.
so I originally had Juju on there. He was supposed to be a top 5 wide receiver going into ADP. He's currently, I think he's like 23rd right now, or like something like that, like right around there, or like
he's 16.
16. I was gonna say, yeah, which is like, I mean, just considering he's like, not only is he the number 1 target there, he's a really talented wide receiver. Like he has that.
No,
talent
absolutely.
there.
But they're dealing with it. I
the
think their
quarterback
second
issue.
quarterback. That's what we're excited about now.
Yeah,
The second backup's coming back.
Yeah,
They were down to the third quarterback.
down to their Galvin Hodges, who no one even heard of. Even his mom was like, "Wait, Galvin starting this weekend?"
I would say if I had to pick a bust, really, I would say Robert Woods would be a bust.
Ooh, that's good. That's a solid pick. He definitely should have been a lot better.
He
right?
was drafted in the 5th round in our league, but in a lot of leagues he was drafted higher than that. He was considered to be like in the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, he was.
And he was, there was a lot of expectation for him doing.
That's
really
the wide
well,
receiver for the Los Angeles Rams.
He's not really doing that well.
Oh
at
my
all.
God, DJ Chark is sitting at number 9 overall right now.
It's crazy. That's
nuts.
Crazy.
He's ahead of.
That's the biggest. I was gonna.
A-Rob, Stephon Diggs, Adam
Yeah.
Thielen, Keenan Allen,
Yep.
John Brown, OBJ, Juju McSchuster.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
How about
I was going to put him higher, but it's just that Lamar Jackson is also carrying the Baltimore Ravens to victory. Like, he's carrying them to
Absolutely.
victory.
Right. What
like,
about,
not just in fantasy.
What about Brandon Cooks?
So I was going to put him on there. He definitely had a much higher ADP. I think though. I think with him, it's that he has that potential again. I think that any game he could he could break it off and
It's true,
blow
but
up.
I think for a guy who you were
You're
basically
wrecking the set, Joe.
I knew that was going to happen.
Oh yeah.
I would say that
There's a little foreshadowing in the front of the set here.
real quick
Brandon
here.
Cooks was probably drafted 4 or higher.
Yeah.
In most leagues.
Yeah.
In our league, like I said, we have a quarterback league, so a lot of people draft quarterbacks.
Yeah.
In the first 4.
Exactly.
So,
Super flex or double quarterback.
Yeah, double quarterback league, super flex. So
Yeah.
in regular standard leagues, Brandon Cooks was probably top 3, the top 3 rounds.
Yeah.
So you have to consider him a bust.
I guess you could. You could. I mean, again, I think.
I can't get over there's no computer, but I
no
keep
computer.
turning around
Brian-
like, where's Brian?
Brian's over there with that.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's pretty much. I think that's basically about all of that. The only other thing I would say real quick is just as a defense bust. I kind of wanted to mention real quick. I don't know how well the Rams have been doing, but I remember last year they were like a top 5. I remember going into this year they were supposed to be like top 1 or 2 defense.
Yeah, speaking about bust, how about their freaking quarterback?
The
oh my
quarterback
God.
situation. Oh, Jared Goff. So I was
Jared
going to
Goff's
put
a
him on
suck
there.
fest.
I was going to put him
Holy
on there.
crap.
It's just like I don't even know what to say about
I
that
never
guy.
thought he
Crazy.
was going to be good to begin with. Then he showed that he has tremendous arm strength.
He
I mean, he
does.
could just flip it down the damn field.
Exactly.
And he has crazy weapons.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's playing like when I watched him the few games I watched, I think it was against the Browns. I think it was a Monday night game.
Yeah.
He plays so lackadaisical. You're like, I guess he feels like he's going to turn it on at any point, but then he just sucks the whole game.
It's crazy.
Right,
God, he's
Unbelievable.
bad.
But
Where's he on
That's
total?
one of
We
the
gotta see where
reasons.
he's at.
So that was one of the reasons why I actually didn't put Brandon Cooks on the bus list, is because it's not really even his fault. It's Jared Goff's fault.
Goff
Jared
sucks,
Goff
man.
is just he's having a.
He's
he was an
not-
MVP candidate last year. He finished. He finished 3rd in MVP
Well, you're going to
voting.
them
He
Super
actually had
Bowls
like
and
2 or
crap.
3 votes, and he was a Super Bowl quarterback, and it was just terrible. So
All right, let's see who is. Let's
But,
take
yeah.
a good quiz, you guys, real quick.
do it. All right.
Let me see. Where is he? I'm trying to find out where he even is right now.
Oh, I can't even.
So give me.
Los
give me a
Angeles
minute.
Rams right now are ranked 4th.
4th in
overall
defense.
in
Okay, so then I was
defense
like, I
season.
wasn't sure. I remember at one point in the season, I remember looking it up, and I was like, wow,
But
how are
here's
they not doing
now
this
here's
good?
the difference. Like the first ranked defense is
this
the
can't
New
be
England
true.
Patriots. They have 181 points.
Yeah.
181 points for defense.
Yeah,
so
I know.
far
Yeah, exactly.
Through
It's
8
unbelievable.
games.
Yeah, I know.
And the next closest actually is the 49ers
Right.
with 114,
Yeah.
which is also very not bad.
Right.
The 3rd place, the Steelers.
Yeah.
84.
Right.
I'm sorry, 82.
82. All right. Well, no, that's unbelievable.
82.
It's crazy, man. I know. I mean, speaking of that, just to even get off a little bit off fantasy. Well, hey, Rob, you got a little quiz over there for the.
I was going to
The
quiz you,
Jared-
but I can't find his friggin' name on
See
here.
that's
not even on
that's
there.
because no one thinks about him anymore. He's like, oh, he's not relevant. Isn't he a starting quarterback? Nah,
I'm looking
no
at
one
the
cares
top
about
picks.
Jared Goff
I can't
anymore.
even find him. How far down this list is he?
It's unbelievable.
Oh my god, I gotta see if he's even available.
Yeah.
I think he might be.
But speaking
playing
of like
at the
historic
supermarket.
seasons, talk about like the Patriots, they're undefeated. The 49 this is the NFL now, not fantasy. 49ers are undefeated. The Patriots are undefeated. They are both currently 9-0. The 49ers
crazy.
just won, or I'm sorry, the 49ers are 9-0. They just won on Thursday.
With the quarterback the Patriots had.
With the quarterback that the Patriots had. So I saw this crazy stat. So right now the Tom Brady is 8-0. Jimmy Garoppolo is 9-0, and Jacoby Brissett is, I believe, 7-1 or 8-1. I believe.
Yeah, he's like
7-1.
7-1.
Those are the three quarterbacks that were former Patriots. Remember, Tom Brady was
Pretty Jimmy got
suspended.
traded.
Jimmy G took in. He got hurt. Jacoby Brissett took over. Those three quarterbacks are both crazy winning records. Probably going to go to the playoffs. The Colts are number 1 in the AFC, I think, right? Number 2 in the AFC right now. It's just unbelievable.
8-0 is
Bill
8-0,
Belichick knows how
but
to get a quarterback.
I mean, I don't know that. Well, I mean, mostly it's their defense and their all play. I mean, Garoppolo's average, I think.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think
he's amazing.
Garoppolo's underrated.
I think he's an underrated
I think
he's
quarterback
good.
as well.
I
I do
think
I mean, he's
that,
sitting at
yeah.
number 16. and I do have him on my team, but
I literally
he had one good game this year.
Yeah, but
His
you have to
fantasy
understand.
stats
Okay,
suck.
here's why I think he sucks.
Yeah.
He has no targets.
You're right.
Yeah.
He sucks.
He's got nobody.
I'm glad we
Yes.
agree.
No.
Here's why I think he sucks.
The reason why
His
people,
tight end, he has Kittle.
He sucks.
he has Kittle. That's all he's got. He's
Yeah.
got nobody
Well,
else.
That's more than other
But
people
you
got.
can't
Yeah,
just constantly
seriously.
throw to your tight end because then they're
No,
going
of course
key
not.
on your tight
Of course
end.
not.
More than
Right,
Ryan
right.
Fitzpatrick has it, right,
how
Dad?
imagine how well Kittle will be now that Evans. I mean, he's got Emmanuel Sanders there now. Emmanuel Sanders just blew up.
I hope so. No,
For
listen,
huge
I hope so.
amounts of
From your
points
lips to
this
God's
past
ears, he's on my
Thursday.
team. So,
Yeah.
but
You're gonna
I think
be
the
lucky.
biggest
I'm
surprise
almost
there
regretting
is
I
that
got
they're.
rid of him because I think
Oh, calm down.
I-
You are not. Lockett's doing way better than
Lockett's
OBJ.
doing very good, but still, I think
And the consistency
I
for
don't
you is
think
good.
you're
You were
gonna be-
already ahead. When I'm ahead, I just go consistent. When you're flagging, you're in the back. You need some kind of miracle throw. You need to get in.
for
Yeah.
sure.
I don't care if I finish number 5 and I play it safe. Who cares?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want to finish number 5. I want
Exactly.
money.
Sure.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
No, 100%,
So-
man.
But yeah, no. I think more surprising Jimmy G is that they're undefeated.
They're undefeated.
Yeah.
And a lot of
No
people
one
say
saw that coming.
they haven't played anybody, and that's kind of true. But still, every
Yeah.
team can play. It's
Oh,
it's
for
the
sure.
NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they
They
played
almost
teams with
lost
winning
Thursday
records.
against the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, that was a close game. Was that a field
rough.
goal
Yeah.
difference?
I wish
or
I'd
something?
stayed up for that game. Sounded like it was. A good
It
game.
is pretty
Well,
crazy though. To
You're
see
a
them
little
kinda
bit
go
older,
that
you know.
way.
You're taking a little Jeopardy and off to bed for you.
Yeah, sometimes I suppose.
A little murder she wrote,
yeah,
and it's time
so-
to go to bed.
If you guys want, but I thought. So I mean, that kind of you want to. We'll wrap it up there, I guess,
Yeah.
and we'll come
Yeah.
back in a little bit. We're gonna take a little break. We're gonna do something a little.
Let me
bit
ask you guys a quick
special,
question.
Right? Oh, go ahead, Rob.
Just
sorry.
real quick. Just
Yeah,
no. I just
It's all
thought
you.
about it right now.
Yeah.
Where would you guess Daniel Jones is sitting for?
Ooh.
For
Well, I
for
have
this
him as
one?
a quarterback, so
Oh, so you're pretty.
yeah. So
What do you
I'm
think,
pretty much
Joe?
familiar.
Where I think he is sitting as
His
right now.
ranking.
His ranking in the quarter. You think he's in the top 20 or out?
Yeah, he's
No.
out. I would
No,
say.
no way.
No,
He's in the top 20.
he's
He
not
is?
only that, but he's actually not that far out of the top 10.
Mm.
Correct?
Oh wait,
No, he's
actually
pretty-
like,
what? He's down there.
Right below
Yeah.
Derek Carr on
Oh,
this
really?
list. It's,
was he 18?
He's number
unfortunately,
17.
The sleeper bot list is
17.
not numbered, so I have to.
17
count
right
it
behind
out,
Garoppolo and in
I
front of
could-
Brissett.
Yeah, he's been a decent QB2 for me.
Guess where his tight end is sitting?
Pretty high, right? Yeah, like a top
I didn't
5?
realize he was doing that well.
Yeah,
yes,
no,
he is.
Evan Ingram is like having an
He's
a
number
Evan
5.
Ingram,
year. Yeah,
Evan Ingram's
yeah.
one of the top tight ends.
Well, I mean, he's
Yeah.
definitely a top tight end, but I
terms
didn't know
of
he was
skill.
doing as well
Yeah,
because
well,
I
yeah,
know
for
the
sure.
Giants are doing so
well,
bad.
you
It's
have
hard
to
to watch.
understand when it comes to tight ends.
Yeah.
There's only like usually every year.
Yeah.
There's like 3 tight ends that stand out.
No,
Maybe
you're
4
right.
if you're lucky.
And this year's
then
a weird
everybody
one.
else, it's like here's the plateau, and then everybody else is down.
Yeah, it's a
down
weird
here.
thing. It's
And
sort of
that's
it's sort of
basically
like the
same
loosely
thing.
related podcast and then every other podcast.
Very much like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
it's
the
a
other
very
weird
good
thing about the tight
comparison.
end, I'm actually playing Dallas Goedert, which is the backup
Yeah,
to Zach Ertz. And
That's-
he's doing better
doing better.
lately.
Crazy.
But Austin Hooper's killing it. for
Yeah.
tight
He's
ends.
Yeah.
again. I'm surprised.
I mean,
Surprised
he's
to see that,
basically
man.
got a 30-point lead on the next
Yeah.
best tight end, which is Travis Kelce. So he's
Exactly.
another guy you want to every year you want to grab that guy. Now Austin Hooper, I would say, was one of the biggest surprises.
Well, see, that's what I was going to say, but he
I
really
picked
wasn't,
him
though.
up.
But he actually wasn't a surprise. You know that his average ADP was actually, in terms of tight ends, he was actually considered to be, at the start of the season, a top 5 ranking tight
Really?
end. Yep.
Huh.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that. 'Cause I didn't think he was. I honestly, I knew of him, obviously, but I did not think that. But he was ranked top 5 on the season going in. So,
All right. George
but anyway,
Kittle,
I guess
Darren
we'll
Waller,
go ahead and we'll probably go ahead and wrap it up, and then we'll come back. We got a little special thing planned, and with Dad on the next segment, and then we'll take a little break, and we'll be right back.
Be right back.
All right.
Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 19 of Loosely Related. And for our next segment, we're going to bring on a guest host, brand new, not the same person. This is the Honorable Judge Joe Hassett. All right.
Yeah, so
Hey,
welcome
Judge
back
Joe.
to episode 19. I'm happy to be here with you guys.
Happy to have you, Mr.
Well,
Judge.
thank you very much for inviting me. I appreciate that very much.
So you must be the preside over
Whose glasses are these?
Oh,
That was our old host,
yeah.
Joe.
old
Was it- oh,
host.
okay.
Yeah,
We don't talk about him.
Yeah,
we don't
all
talk
right.
about him too much. He was fired. He was actually, I think you actually presided over his case. You actually sent him to jail for having too much forehead. It was like he was blinding aircraft as they were flying into
Right.
airports. So.
He was told to put a little red beeper on his head, and he never did it.
Yeah,
That was
exactly.
among other things. That's only two of the cases you guys
okay.
mentioned
Oh.
in connection
I don't want to
with
know the
Mr.
other more
Hassett.
dirty
Yes,
ones.
I understand.
He also
that.
has been indicted for
Yeah.
kidnapping and
kidnapping.
of producers.
Yes,
podcast
producers.
I've heard he
and
was-
keeping them locked in his basement against
That's
their
right.
will.
Also,
Right.
hijacking old jokes
so-
and beating them to death.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, yeah. So this is actually not a new segment. We did do something similar to this in the previous
we
episode.
did.
But
Backed
you
by
know,
popular
Joe did it,
demand.
Yes.
and now myself, the Honorable Joe of Newburgh, is now doing it.
Yes.
And it will be hopefully a much better segment this time
So
around.
this is
because I'm an official judge, as you can see.
Yes.
Very
Have
official.
your gavel,
Straight from.
obviously.
I don't have the British accent, but I'm straight from Britain.
Yeah.
And we wear this as a normal garb
Yeah.
for British courtrooms.
Yeah.
And and we're much better at making judgments as well. So
I believe that. I absolutely do. So
Yeah.
this is going to be
Yeah,
that
they're all struggling with
basically.
Brexit.
So
I feel like
Brian,
a
why don't
sheepdog
you
with
walk
this
us
thing
through
on.
what?
if you can't, by the way, if you can't, obviously,
For
you know,
those of
if
you
you're
listening,
Yeah.
you're not seeing what's going on here. But
Right.
you might want to just check in with YouTube. Check out what's
Right,
going on.
he's
he's got the old traditional, old-timey Judge White,
He-
white long curly
Yeah.
hair,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, the,
old
He does-
spectacles.
He does not look unlike what
The
I can
powdered
imagine
wig.
Ben Franklin looked like when they were like,
Yeah.
"What the hell's electricity, Ben? Get the hell
Yeah,
out of here!
I kind of
Get
look like
Ben out
Ben
of here!"
Franklin, or Ben Franklin's mom with a
Yeah.
headset on. That's what I
Yes.
look like. I
Exactly.
think.
So, Brian, why
Look
don't you
kinda
go ahead
pretty.
and just briefly walk us through,
Okay.
because I think this is a combination. I know he was, Brian was sort of there when our previous host and him created this segment.
Yes.
So obviously he's gone. So
Like,
Brian,
I'm going to tell you what it is, and Brian, if I'm wrong, you can correct me, all right?
all right.
Basically, Brian has a hat over there with topics, and he's
Okay.
going to randomly choose a topic out of that hat,
Yeah.
and it's going to be up to yourself, Joey, and Rob
Ooh.
to argue the both sides
We're gonna have a
of
debate.
that
right,
topic.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Okay, and whoever presents the best argument for their side of that topic,
Yeah.
the pro or the con, whatever
Uh-huh.
it might be, I get to judge and rule on whether or not that topic, who wins that particular
Okay.
case. Okay.
All right. All right.
So-
sounds good. Sounds good.
Pointless
Now-
counterpoints is what we called it.
Pointless
Pointless
counterpoints.
counterpoints.
Now the rules are here. You have, as the person who begins, will have 2 minutes to
1 minute.
One
I think
minute.
we
1
decided
minute, 1
because
minute,
our brains
1 minute
don't
to argue,
function.
and 30 seconds for rebuttal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sounds good.
And so that's what we will do, and we'll see who presents the better case.
Are we gonna have a
And,
timer?
but- so who decides the case? That's the big thing. You left that part out.
I decide the case.
There
I
you
did say
go.
that.
That's what I'm
I will
saying. Did
rule
ya?
on the case after the arguments have been closed.
All right. Anyway, we will go ahead and do our first topic. Brian's over there
First
looking.
topic.
I can't believe
All right.
I can't believe I wrote this.
All right.
Argue the benefits of using human feces as fertilizer to grow flowers in your garden.
Okay.
That's a tough topic.
So you need to decide who's the pro and who's the con.
I might even decide to do a different topic.
Oh, I think
Yeah.
that's a good one. I think I can argue that for days. I think
Okay.
that's pretty good.
So today on Here Comes the Judge, we have our prosecutor and our
Yes.
defendant,
Yeah.
or do we just have two sides of the case? So just we'll argue. So we'll start
Whatever.
with Joey arguing in the case
Yeah.
for the pros
Okay.
of using fertilizer.
Human feces is
Well, that doesn't make him a
fertilizer.
prosecutor then,
Yeah.
right? We're
Well,
not doing that, I guess,
Yeah,
right?
I guess we're
Whatever,
not
it
really
doesn't
doing
matter.
that. But you can argue the pro side of
Right.
using human feces
Yep.
as fertilizer in your garden for
Okay.
growing flowers,
Yep.
Yeah.
and you
Yeah,
can
I
argue
wrote-
All right.
Against it. Okay.
Against it.
Okay.
All right. So, you want to do we have a timer,
Yeah,
Brian?
I got a timer.
You got the timer. Okay, great. Let me know when it is time for me to start.
All right, start.
All right, so first things first, I will say is that as we all know, we all love flowers. Everybody alive loves flowers, every single person. And I think that the most important thing is that everybody wants flowers that are going to grow big, grow tall, and they're going to grow nice and beautiful. The best way to do that is not from cow manure and cow feces. It is from human manure. I know we use the word feces, but listen, we could do the exact same stuff they do to cow manure. Of course you could. As a matter of fact, it'll be even better. Think about all the intelligence that Albert Einstein had. Think about all the intelligence that Steve Jobs and the talent of LeBron James and Tom Brady. Now think of that in your garden helping to grow your flowers. Your flowers are going to grow as tall as LeBron James. They're going to grow as rich as Bill Gates. And most importantly, they're going to be as beautiful as, Bella Hadid and all of these people. So you don't need anything in life. All you need is human manure for your garden. Thank you.
Wow, okay. 6
Okay,
seconds
so that's
to spare.
the first
There
argument.
you go.
So, Rob, we'd like to
Okay.
hear your rebuttal on that.
Well, counterpoint.
Your counterpoint on that.
Okay, I will start now.
Well, I can't deny lots of people do like flowers. Living in the Hudson Valley with plenty of asthmatic children and people who have allergies, I'm pretty sure they don't like flowers. I think Joey, in fact, this is just a cover because he probably has some kind of stakes in antihistamines, or he's a sales rep for one of these Claritin companies and he just wants to sell his garbage. Plus, we already have cows and all that out there shitting as it is. I don't want to see people's naked ass shitting outside. And then it just makes it all weird and confusing. And how much shit are you really putting out in a day anyway?
Right.
But if you were going to use shit to grow something, I would hope it'd be food so that we can eat. Who the hell wants to use shit just to grow flowers? That's all I got to say about that.
Not a bad argument. Not a bad
17 seconds to
counterpoint.
spare.
Wow. Okay. Well, so.
All right, so now we get 30-second rebuttal.
Okay.
Joey will begin his 30-second rebuttal when
Starting.
Brian says so.
All right.
It won't go to 0 minutes.
This is
Zero.
I
tight. We
hate
have a
when that
tight-knit show right here.
All right,
It's
This
very
is
tight.
No, I have to
All
admit,
right,
it's
go.
pretty
All right. So
decent
first of all,
arguments
let
too.
me just explain quickly that yes, the Hudson Valley is a area that is known for allergies. But do you know what we can do with human feces and manure? We can actually grow flowers that do not give off any allergens. There is no allergic properties with using human manure. It is basically like a superfood, but for flowers and for plants. Use human manure if you don't want your children to get asthma and get sick from
All right, done.
allergens.
Done.
There you
Okay,
go.
that's good.
Okay.
And yes,
all right.
and yes, I did do my research. Yes, I did.
Yes.
All
All
right,
right,
so now I'm going to allow Rob to have his rebuttal.
Okay.
and go.
As you know, living in the Northeast, we have all kinds of seasons, right? We have winter. Who the hell's going out in the middle of winter and taking a shit? It's cold enough to wear dressed and everything. I'm going to sit on my cozy, warm toilet that's all heated, and I can use a bidet and wash my ass. What do you wash your ass with outside after you take a shit in your roses? Meanwhile, I guess the only good part of your argument is at the end of the day, you really can go eat shit.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
end.
All
Okay.
right. Well, listen. That's
That
it
is
for
the end
that.
of case one.
Yeah.
Now, my decision here, there was two very good arguments on both sides.
Okay.
Rob's concern for the health of people
Right.
using human feces to grow flowers in the garden, and the fact that most people, I could agree with the fact that most people would rather grow food in the gardens, as most people do in Hudson Valley, to grow tomatoes or cucumbers or
Nice
something like
tomato.
that.
Sure.
Most people are probably not going to use human feces, even if, in your case, human
Right.
feces would actually help to grow better.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've done your research necessarily on human feces.
I've independent research.
I don't
entirely independent.
Okay, it's entirely independent
Funded
research.
by Congress.
Yes.
I would have to say scientific. If you showed me a package of human feces,
No, you know what? You're fake news. You're fake news. It's real.
Well,
It's
no.
real. I'd have the best garden ever with human feces. Anything else is fake news. That's fake news.
all right. So human feces interacting with plant life may not have the best interactions, just based on just a hunch on my own. I didn't do the research, so I can't say one
Fake
way
news.
or the other. But I do like your argument about using. It could be just what you're saying. There's so much good nutrition in human feces that plants may grow super plants. But I'd prefer, again, to grow human food. Now, on the counterpoint, Rob.
All right,
did
I
make
think
some
we need to get to the
Rob
point.
made
here.
no.
Let's get
Rob
to the
made
point here. This
Rob
is
made
carrying
some
on too
good
much.
points.
All right.
but he used the word shit probably 30 times.
Uh-huh.
All right, so that kind of plays down his argument a little bit because it's supposed to be a sort of family-friendly show.
I didn't know that. All right,
but
fair
he was-
enough.
but
We're
at the
talking
same
about
time-
using feces as manure, and
But you
apparently
said
we're family-friendly.
You said feces.
Yeah,
he said
we
shit.
used the medical term.
Okay.
He said shit. You said feces.
I
now
used
you
to
said it a
say
lot
feces.
more.
Now you just said
So-
the word too.
Yeah, so we all
There you
said
go.
shit.
All right,
so
so-
I'm going to argue in favor of.
Argue. You're going to decide in favor.
Well, I want
You're
to
the
argue
judge.
too because I'm kind of arguing right now about it.
He's arguing against.
I'm
the
arguing
voices.
against
against
both
himself.
cases. I want to make
God.
my own case for it because I'm a judge. I'm the judge. I have my piece of paper. Wait, no,
We
I don't
didn't
have.
get that
Forgot
yet.
my
That's
diploma.
gonna be added in later.
So, I'm going to argue in favor of Mr. Robert Hickson.
Yay!
All right.
Justice has been served.
All right. Hey, real quick. Quick break. Dad, just pull that away from your mouth. The microphone.
The
'cause You're
microphone.
clipping like crazy.
Am I? Okay.
All right. Ready? And right back in 3, 2, 1.
Okay. So, we're going to take one more case here. Brian's
Yes.
going to come up with a second subject, second topic. And again, we're going to argue those things, starting with Rob on my right,
Good.
and we'll start again.
Alrighty.
So, case number 2, the case of...
This is the case of the host of this week is actually a hologram and has been this entire time. We just haven't known.
That's probably... There you
Okay,
go.
so obviously I'm going to argue not that because I don't want you guys to know that I'm a hologram. So I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm going to take the con on that because that's hilarious.
So we're going to have Joey with the
So
con.
basically, it's like Blade Runner. Basically,
Yeah.
it's like Blade Runner, but instead of a cyborg, I am a hologram. So you have to convince everyone that I'm a hologram, and I have to convince everyone that I'm not a hologram. How about
That's
that?
great.
How about
Okay.
that? That work? All right, cool. Here we go.
All right.
Whenever you're
Okay,
ready,
so
Brian.
Oh, yeah.
we
That
will
timer
start
ready.
our arguments.
Whenever Brian
Yeah,
gets
just gotta
listen.
roll it
This is
back
how
to
this
1
is how it
minute.
works in courtrooms. Okay, everybody
Um,
gets timed with an iPhone. From guys sitting in the back, they're like, yeah, you're good.
And
We're
start.
good to start.
Okay, so I strongly believe that Joey is in fact a hologram for several reasons. One is because he's always glitching. If you watch our YouTubes, he's like this. He's introducing the judge, and he's moving all around. Also, it'd be easy to pull this off because 80% of our listeners are only listening and they're not watching. So how the hell do you know if he's even here or he's not here? Thirdly, I really believe it because if you listen to our arguments, much like a hologram, his argument was very two-dimensional. I'm done.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That was a little bit
that was
harsh.
like 30
hit
seconds.
home.
Sorry.
Hit home a little bit.
mean to
But
be-
listen, okay, I get it. You ready, Brian?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, good start.
Listen, I get it. People want to believe that people who are super smart and super hyper intelligent, they can't be obviously human. You're a cyborg, you're a hologram, you're an alien from another planet, you're Donald Trump, you're whatever. They want to believe that you are, not actually here because you can't really be that talented and exist. Yes, listen, I'll be honest. I look at Bella Hadid sometimes and on my shoes. She has to be a hologram. She can't be a real person. But here's my whole thing, okay? I am a person who clearly is here at this podcast and he clearly is talking. I have a voice. I use words. I understand English. I can listen to people. I can feel things. And most importantly, who else conducted all that research about the human manure usefulness in flowers? Okay, I did that. You think a regular person would do that stuff, or a hologram would do that stuff? Oh, I might have let something slip right there. Anyway, all right. Anyway, that's all for me. Don't listen to humans. Holograms. Anyway, that's
He's
it.
glitching.
Yeah, time's up. Time's up. Okay.
Okay, so for our rebuttal, Rob will have 30 seconds for his rebuttal.
30 seconds.
All right.
And not 29. There we go.
There you go.
If you ever seen a real human, you know that the hair moves. Joey's hair hasn't moved even one little centimeter. His hair just perfectly stays wherever it is at all given times. Plus, there was a while ago where Joey was like a whale, and now all of a sudden he's slim and sexy looking. I think it would have been a lot easier to come up and develop a hologram image of what he wished he'd looked like rather than actually lose all that weight. And that's my point, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay.
Okay, and now we will have rebuttal, 30 seconds from
I am
Joey.
good.
Go.
So yes, it is true that when I downloaded my last update, I mean, when I lost all of that weight, I went from a certain place. I was overweight and I came down. But listen, the whole point is that sometimes when you go ahead and you do certain things, you just take better care of yourself. Whether you're a human or a hologram, you can go ahead and lose those things. And sometimes that might mean downloading the most updated driver package. Maybe it means simply going ahead and, buying a new keyboard or a new mouse. Or it just means going out and working out and going for a run and exercising.
That's pretty good. Now, we had two very good arguments on the argument that Joey is a hologram.
I think I'm more convinced that he is a hologram now.
I don't know how you got that. I don't know how you got there, Brian.
But if Joey is a hologram, then that means that my wife is also a hologram.
Oh man.
Well, all right. You could be overthinking it, but maybe
not.
Maybe not.
The arguments were good.
Now he's getting freaked out. Wait a minute. Just pause the podcast. Is he actually a hologram? Is he really a hologram?
I'm starting to get nervous here that my son's a hologram. We could all be holograms.
We could all be a hologram.
We could all be
like Inception.
We could all be in the
That's how I
Matrix.
should have gone with that.
We should have gone with if he really isn't a hologram. Who the hell's watching his 20 Bangladeshi children or whatever?
Yeah,
right,
true.
Right, that's true. Maybe they're all holograms.
So I'm going to have to actually rule again in the favor of Mr. Robert.
All right, listen. It's not real.
And that is the end of our segment.
All right. That will be it from us. I guess we're going to take a quick break, and we will come back in a little bit.
Whoa.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back after that super long break. We found you. We got you back.
Hey, man.
Dad, you're back. Joe's back.
I wouldn't leave you guys hanging.
Yeah, you
I'm not gonna throw out anything in particular to get any jokes made.
Anything. Not gonna do it.
I'm not gonna say.
Where were you,
here.
Joe?
I'm
not saying now.
Exactly.
I'm not saying
now. What we did? We were talking about fantasy football, and then you got all Melvin Gordon-y, and you were like, you know what? I'm gonna hold out now. Rob can hold out. I'm gonna hold out.
Well, you know what I was actually doing? I was actually looking for some more sleepers that I could tell you about next year.
There you go. See,
you know what I mean?
There you go.
I've been watching my app to make sure you're not picking up players.
I don't know what happened though, because I sort of I couldn't find my way back, and then I got here. There was I found this in my place.
Gavel sitting there.
The gavel was in my seat. What happened?
Don't think too hard about it. That's what I would say.
Yes.
What the hell happened?
We had a little
issue. You guys
issue.
did a show without me or something?
Well, we had a little issue. We had a court case. And it was settled. It was settled out of court. It was settled on the podcast. Right. And the bottom line is that it's all been taken care of.
Were you impeaching Trump?
Listen, we were doing a couple different things that we're not going to
There's
discuss here.
Do that.
There's legal things and there's illegal things, and the things that
someone might be a hologram.
Yeah, possibly.
Oh, really?
Where we don't.
I guess
no.
I'll have.
What? No. Okay, we're good. We're all right.
I guess I'll have to see what happened on YouTube.
Yeah, but so we're back and all that, and I want to talk about this one thing. So last episode, actually the last couple episodes, we've been talking a little bit about movies and Netflix, and we talked about a movie last episode. If you saw it, shout out to everybody who checked out our last episode. But we talked about a movie called 1922, and it's actually a Stephen King novel that was made into a Netflix movie, and it kind of got, I know, me and Rob thinking about Netflix series and stuff like that. And Rob, you have been talking about this one for a while now, and you were starting to explain it to me, and I was literally like, no, stop, save it for the podcast, talk about it in the podcast. And it's called Daybreak, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do a quick review on that. I watched it, ended up watching it over about 3 days time span with my daughter Isabella.
Nice.
And I will say this, it's definitely a mature, whatever the equivalent is, I would say it's a hard R.
Yeah.
There's suggestive scenes, no nudity, but there's definitely coarse language.
Yeah.
And it is post-apocalyptic, so there is a lot of hell-raising and violence, and people definitely are getting killed in this show.
That's up next in my queue.
You got it in the
Netflix.
queue?
Yeah, it's
Must watch or whatever.
Because last night I discovered something on Netflix, and I watched that, and then afterwards this trailer for that one popped up, like it normally does, and it looked really interesting. So that's next in my queue. So I'm interested in seeing that. And I'll tell you about what I watched. I think you guys will like it too.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So I'll definitely try to keep it spoiler free. I don't want to ruin it for anybody watching or you guys.
Yeah, definitely.
So I would definitely say it has so much going for it. There's a lot going on, but it ends up at the end being kind of a mixed bag. So I'll give you a quick preview. Yeah, in this, I just really think the sum of the parts were better than the whole in a way.
Yeah.
So Daybreaker's new Daybreak. I keep saying Breakers too. Daybreak is a new series on Netflix. This is season 1, but based on the ending, of course, it left it open for another season.
Sure.
It's a post-apocalyptic teen dramedy, and I say that because, with the exception of a couple adults who are in the show, 2 in fact, the rest of them are all teenagers, 17 and younger. Apparently, everybody was 18 and older at the time of this explosion, this event. We don't really even know what it was necessarily. It alludes to being a nuclear event, but you're not really sure why only 17 and under survived.
Okay.
I'd imagine it was a setup so we can see exactly what happened, the nonsense of a Lord of the Flies situation where teens are running the show.
Right.
So what happens is, there's a young a guy. It's played by a young man named Colin Ford, who I didn't know who it was. In fact, the only person in the show who I knew was Matthew Broderick. He plays the principal, Mr. Burr.
Oh, nice.
And then there's another adult, Krista Rodriguez, who she's been in a few things you guys might be familiar with. I had to look her up. I didn't know any of her specifics.
I don't even know Colin Ford, honestly.
Can you actually check that out, Brian? See what she's been in? It's Krista Rodriguez, and she plays the biology teacher, Miss Crumble. So there's this explosion. There's the lead guy, revolves around this kid named Josh. He's a Canadian kid who ends up moving to California, to this area of California.
Oh, nice.
And he goes to school. I think he's a senior, I'd imagine, because he's 17. And he falls in love with the popular girl. Her name's Sam Dean. Sam Dean. Everybody knows who she is. She's this British girl. Like, every time her name's Sam Dean,
it's like
slow-mo. Yes.
Sam Dean.
So it definitely pays homage to a lot of other shows I know that we definitely love here. And to a degree, it's pretty funny, but sometimes it's a little, just hits it too much on the head.
Yeah.
So, like, the fact that Matthew Broderick's in it and it opens, the very first scene, they're like, the kid's name is, what is his name again? I'm sorry.
Krista Rodriguez wasn't really in anything that important.
Just a few things, right? Yeah, I didn't. She looked like maybe familiar to me, but I wasn't sure.
Smash.
Okay, Quantico, the FBI show, or whatever.
I don't know.
You know, just so you know, we're gonna leave a link to the to the trailer if you want. Maybe we'll even show it if we can.
Yeah, why not?
We'll show
I don't know about showing it, but
if there's a YouTube.
Might get
if we're gonna it's on YouTube, so we could probably.
But I'm saying we could put it in the show description for sure. We'll definitely do that.
Yeah. So Josh, I think it's Josh Wheeler is the main guy. I better be sure about that. I'm pretty sure.
1 second.
So, double check that to make sure. So he's this Canadian transfer student. He comes over here, and even in the beginning, he tells his story mostly through flashback because it's already post-apocalyptic. But even right from the beginning, they're giving references.
Josh
to
Wheeler's the main guy. Yeah.
Wheeler, right? They're like Wheeler.
Oh, really?
Wheeler, Josh. And so right away, you know they're doing that Ferris Bueller. And obviously the fact that Matthew Broderick's in it. Now, It wasn't that the first 2 episodes took me a little bit. I didn't latch onto him right away.
Sure.
He's not a bad actor, but it didn't resonate with me. If he's trying to be Ferris Bueller, he breaks the fourth wall constantly. That is basically how the story is told.
Oh, no way.
And I like it.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. I just didn't find his particular story that interesting.
Okay.
But that's not, if you can get through the first 2 episodes, I would say stay with it because I liked what they were doing. A lot of the stuff was really funny. Some of the jokes really did land. I actually laughed out loud at some of them, which I don't usually do.
Yeah.
So I did feel like it was trying too hard in some areas. There's a lot of stylized action. Some of the actual supporting cast I found to be super funny and interesting. So after the first 2 stories, basically a love story, he falls in love with the girl Sam Dean I was telling you about.
Yeah.
They're split during this. There's some argument going on between them. You're not really sure until later in the episodes what's going on.
Yeah.
But all these people end up being either very much who they were, but even worse post-apocalypse.
Right, of course.
Right?
Okay.
Some people really... Pokemon, right?
almost
Some of them
Pokemon.
turn into Pikachu.
Yeah.
Some are Detective Pikachu.
Right. That's most TV.
Sure.
That's how
Right.
Game of Thrones ends.
It should have ended that way. It'd have been more interesting.
Turns out they were Pokemon all along.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's definitely like, imagine Ferris Bueller with the Warriors. Remember how they had factions? They very much like the teenagers form factions.
Oh, no way.
So
okay.
there's the cheerleader group. They're the what do they call them? Cheermazons.
Really?
Right. And then there's the super jock. The main jock guy
hilarious.
is totally a Mad Max
really?
rip off, or I don't want to
yeah.
say rip off, but it's clearly right from Mad Max.
Yeah.
He's riding around. It's all the athletes band together.
Oh, really?
And the main guy has
hell?
like a mask, and
Yeah.
his face is kind of messed up.
Yeah,
and his name is Turbo Jock Bro, I think.
Turbo Jock Bro.
Turbo
Cool.
Turbo Pro Jock or something like that. Bro Jock, check it out.
Yeah, that
But-
kind of hits the nail on the head.
Right.
Yeah.
And
that's
they
a
play
perfect
right
example.
into these stereotypes, right?
Yeah.
But some of it's like, I get it. You don't have to beat me over the head
Right.
with the
Yeah.
joke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Give us some credit.
That alone, yeah. perfectly summarizes. Like,
So
I get it.
Right, exactly, Joey. So some of the 2 episodes, if you get past them, you're really rewarded with some awesome like relationships. Some of the there's the girl, the 10-year-old. They kind of form the 3 of them kind of form their own party.
Yeah.
Like how everybody has those factions or those good. So imagine all the groups in your high school, basically, like all the cliques.
That's what I'm thinking of. Right
take their own areas. So Josh is kind of a loner, but he ends up meeting up with the 2 people. One was actually a bully. This guy Wesley kind of was a bully, but now he's trying to look for redemption in this post-apocalyptic world where he's like a samurai now, and he lives by the code of the samurai, and he wants to make amends and fix his bad decisions and his poor lifestyle by helping the guy Josh find the girl Sam again.
No shit.
But he's what do you call it? He's totally against like violence of any kind now.
Sure.
So even when it's warranted, there's these funny parts where he's like, "Oh no, I don't fight anymore."
Yeah,
he's
right.
He's like all apologetic all the time.
Yeah.
And then you have this 10-year-old girl, and she is fire in this show. She's like, I can't believe
like
she has
Arya?
a foul mouth, but she would be the Arya of this show.
Yeah,
she's so awesome. I instantly found her character much more interesting than even the main
So
guy's
it sounds
character.
like the characters are. It sounds like they're engaging characters. That you get involved in
Definitely.
the characters and their progression and their growth through the show, which makes to me makes a show.
That's one of the best.
Like I said, the only thing that falls a little flat is like the main protagonist, him in a relationship with the girl is
really?
But they are teenagers, right? So
Sure.
I would say the demographic for the show, they're certainly shooting for like 16 to 30, probably.
Oh, okay.
But I think it could still be interesting. I still had a good time with the show.
Yeah.
Overall, I still had a good time. I would definitely say
So, like,
I recommend it.
entertaining.
Yes, it was entertaining because
cool.
there were some of the episodes like, oh my gosh, that was so awesome.
Yeah.
And for me, I found that making the show worthwhile to watch.
I'll have to watch it twice because I'm almost 30 twice.
Right,
Twice,
exactly.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you'll have to watch it
I have to
twice
watch
because you'll
it twice
forget it
times
the
through.
first time.
Yeah,
too.
right.
Because the
that's
first
true.
time through, you'll be in your 30s, and then the second time through, you'll be like 60.
I'll be by the time
60?
I finish
Yeah.
it, it'd be 60.
Like, I don't like it as much as I did that first time.
Yeah,
All these damn kids in my yard.
if I remember
Right.
what
One of
it
those
was.
things
Yeah.
kinda
Exactly.
Right.
But I feel like what you described, Rob, is kind of like I feel like how that describes all Netflix shows now.
Yeah,
like
pretty
they,
much.
They have 400 shows,
Right.
and 90% of them are like that. They're fun and entertaining. They don't really have a great payoff. Like I've always made the joke, like Netflix does not know how to end a series very well.
Yeah, they're Stephen
They
King's
start off
of
great.
shows.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know. Like I feel like that could be part of the reason why they're crazily in debt and they're not making any money and they're losing all their product to Disney Plus and Apple TV and loosely related podcast streaming service coming soon to a platform near you.
It's not.
So exactly.
Yeah.
So you said those things. So let's get that.
It's just
going to
be the three of. It's just that the streaming service is just going to be me, Rob, and Joey in a
Talking
rowboat
about movies.
going down the
We're
street.
every channel. We're
be
doing
just
our
gonna be
different
in a
bits on every
stream.
Netflix channel.
Yeah.
So I would just summarize it real
Be
quick.
sitting in
like
the back of the
Oh, yeah,
boat
I'm sorry,
filming
Rob.
us
No,
that's all
going
right.
down the street.
Yeah.
I would just quickly summarize the good. For a show about teenagers, actually, 2 of the 3 actors that I found most interesting, 2 of them are adults.
Yeah.
So Ferris Bueller, right? The original Ferris Bueller,
Yes.
real Ferris Bueller. Matthew Broderick is great in this show.
Is he?
It's
No
awesome.
shit.
He's so good.
Oh, that makes me happy to hear
Both
that, man.
sides of his character, and they're very kind of similar and opposites at the same time, are amazing.
Oh, cool,
The lady
cool.
we were
That's
just
good.
talking about, who plays, I don't want to give her other thing away, but her irreverent comedy lands almost every time.
Really?
Okay.
And then the girl who plays the 10-year-old friggin' Arya Stark with a pension to blow shit up is amazing.
That's awesome,
Wow.
man.
The bad, there was a lot of forced relationships, a ton of loose ends at the end. There were like a lot of I don't get the motivation for the
Yes,
2 main
that's-
characters. Like, why are they doing this? This doesn't make any sense. Why? Why is there only 17-year-olds and younger? A lot. They never really explain any of that.
Oh,
So you're
really?
like, well, maybe they'll do this in season 2. I assume they're gonna have one.
Yeah, sure.
And they never really address some of
Then
that.
they'll have one other problem, a new problem at the end of season 2. That's
Right,
how
of course.
Netflix always feels.
Of course. But at the end of the day, I would say I would give it. Yeah, I would give it a soft yes. I would say a tacit confirmation of good show there.
Okay.
I'd say a 6.5 to a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
that's
because some
okay.
of the payoffs
Solid.
were awesome.
That's solid, yeah, for sure, right?
Yeah, well, like you were saying, I mean, like Netflix is seeming. What is going on with Netflix? It's like spaghetti against the wall. Let's see what sticks. I'm not really sure.
A lot of times, and you know what? A lot things. I think they put a lot of things up there. You flip through there, like if you're on Netflix, and if you have Netflix, you go scroll through all the different categories,
Yeah.
and somewhere in between there pops up Netflix. You know, and
Originals.
the big ones come
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
Netflix
yeah.
originals come up, and half of them are dubbed films.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Dubbed
like,
films? Like, what do you mean?
You know,
what
foreign films, basically.
Oh,
where they
okay.
have English
Foreign films, yeah.
sub dubs in
Some
it.
dumb films, yeah.
We're so dumb. We're dub films.
Dub
the
films,
dub
whatever.
films.
Yeah.
But, and
I didn't
Yeah,
even know.
foreign
I didn't
films.
know that, but okay.
Yeah, but a lot of their films are from foreign the people, like you said, just submitted. There's that funny episode with South Park where they do the whole Netflix submissions, and everybody, they got ideas, and everyone submits their things to Netflix.
But that's not specifically just for the foreign. I mean, that's for it. Literally feels like Netflix will. If anybody walks up to a Netflix executive and say, "Hey, I have a TV show about 3 guys that make a podcast called Loosely Related Podcast," like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do 3 seasons, guys. Give these guys 3 seasons."
Well, I don't know why anybody hasn't done it yet.
Yeah,
then let's
exactly.
get over there and start talking.
And a lot of people don't want to sit through films that
shows
they don't
and
come
films and
across.
everything, and that's the whole thing too, right?
They don't come across the way you want them to come across, but
Yeah.
but they do have good shows from
Yeah,
now
I mean,
and then. I think a lot of their better ones are
Yeah.
their docu-series ones.
They have a
I
lot
like
of good
the
docu-series. I think
ones.
a lot of them are good. I think that the biggest problem with Netflix is that they're trying to do too much. And I mean, like Brian, you had a story, right, about a friend who had worked on a Netflix show, right?
Like a peer in college.
Okay, fair enough.
So basically, first of all, I remember in college we were talking in class, like Netflix is literally trying to switch to like 85 to 90% of like their stuff on their website is going to be made by Netflix.
There you go. Yeah.
Which is just insane.
Yeah, right.
I think
Exactly
that's
it.
shooting yourself in the foot. I think a big thing that was good about Netflix was that you had,
the options.
yeah,
TV
they
shows
brought
and
in like
movies and
basically as like a distributor to a streaming service. Yes,
Yeah,
movies and
yeah.
TV,
Right.
made by other people.
Yeah.
But so this person was an intern on a show. Well, no, they were an intern for a like a prop people who went in to like do like set design for the ranch.
Oh, the ranch. Okay.
And with Ashton Kutcher and
Yeah,
Sam
that's
Elliott.
a funny show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You guys watch that?
No, I've never
It's
watched
pretty
it.
funny.
Well, I haven't seen it, but
Yeah.
So basically what they told me was that if every show is operating like the ranch, Netflix is not sustainable at all.
Really?
Because
They're going to collapse on themselves.
Because there's no set budget.
Right.
It was just, we'll spend money. There's no actual like financial constraints on that show from
Wow.
what that person could tell. And so if that's how you run all of your shows that you're doing and counting the movies that you're producing in-house and you have like the amount of stuff they're releasing is insane. I get updates on my phone that this week or this month, 60 things are going to drop on Netflix and it's freaking nuts. You're going to go out of business. if
Absolutely.
You give that up.
That's exactly what they're saying. I was just reading an article. It says it's right in front of me. It says Netflix is going to lose 10 million subscribers by 2020 if it doesn't lower its prices. And the thing is, like Brian is saying, they're overinflating themselves by trying to produce so much in-house content.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they need to because Disney and Apple and all of them pulling back on they own the rights to those shows.
Yeah, man.
How
So
much
they're
debt do you
pulling
think
them
they're in?
back.
All right, so
It was millions.
I
think.
remembered hearing this. I think I don't know if it's $1 billion. I don't know.
Oh my
I
gosh.
don't know if it's $1 billion, but I'm just gonna say as a starting point $1 billion in debt.
What
As
is
of September 30th, Netflix reported $12.43 billion in debt.
Wow.
12.43 billion?
That's what it says
That's
on
more money than
Variety
that's-
magazine.
That's probably more money than most countries have.
Yeah.
That's more
my
money
gosh.
than the loosely related podcast is worth.
Come on now.
There we go.
But all right, so let me
That's crazy.
let me finish my thought here on the other
Yeah.
thing because, like I said, I prefaced what about the show that you just you talked
The
about.
Daybreak show?
Yeah, Daybreak because I have it in my queue because I just finished watching another show that was on Netflix called The King. And
Oh, yeah, that looks good.
It is very.
Did you
good.
watch that?
I did, and it's very, very.
It's a
good.
movie, right?
It's a Netflix film.
Yeah.
It's like 2 hours and 15 minutes long, I think. And it stars Robert Pattinson and
yeah.
Timothy Chalamet. Is that his
Yep.
name?
Chalamet.
Timothy Chalamet. He plays Henry V, and it's
Okay.
about Henry V.
And France versus
And
England.
France and all of this stuff,
Yeah.
and it's really a cool story. It has a 72% of Rotten Tomatoes. It has a 7.7 on
That's solid.
I knew it.
IGN, and
I-
62% on Metacritic.
I know at one point in time they were talking about that movie being a front runner for Best Picture. I guess
Oh, really?
it had screened at the Toronto Film Festival, I think, and I know that Timothy Chalamet is supposed to be like a front runner for Best Actor.
Oh, no
that
kidding.
It was
he played,
really good.
Henry
Did you watch it too,
V.
Joey? Or?
No, I haven't watched it yet. I actually didn't even know. I remembered it was coming out soon. See, the thing is, not to keep bringing it back, but there's been so much coming out that I've been getting
I
ready
know.
for.
I know.
think actually, I don't know if it's this Friday. I think it's the 8th, which is next Friday. We have.
On
Disney.
Netflix or
No, I'm saying
Apple
Disney
and-
Plus is coming out. I believe it comes out next Friday. So I've been getting ready for like shows like The Mandalorian. That trailer just came out. If you want to throw that trailer in the description too, Brian.
Okay.
Like,
I'm hyped for that.
That's coming out.
looks awesome.
That
How do
trailer.
you get access to the Disney?
So
It'll be a subscription.
it's going to
So
be
you
another
have to pay for
subscription
it.
service. You got to
Right,
pay for
they're
going to
compete just like Netflix,
And how much
Hulu.
is that going to be? Do we know what that?
It says it's going
I
to
don't
come
know
in.
if you
Can you
want
look
to pull that up, Ryan?
It's supposed to be coming in less than Netflix, from what I understand.
Yeah.
I don't know if that they'll probably do like a lot of companies. They'll undercut them as much as they can to pull as many people right off, and then eventually, as they dominate, they'll raise their prices.
Well, you know what's one of the big things that Netflix has had, and I know that I've watched it multiple times on there, is all the Marvel movies were on Netflix. You had Black Panther was on there, Infinity War was on there, or the Captain America was on there. That's all coming off. The minute that Disney Plus, like the hour that Disney Plus comes out, they're taking all the Marvel movies are going, all the Pixar movies. Like they had it is
$7 a month.
$7.
And what are they saying? What
month.
that's going to include, or?
Here, hold on. Let's see.
If you prepay for the full year, it's $583 a month, $70.
Oh
Yeah,
wow,
that's pretty
That's
competitive.
not bad. That's good.
Depending
That's
on what
solid.
you get,
That's tempting.
And Disney movies are amazing. Let's be honest,
Yeah,
because now
obviously.
because they own everything now. They
I think
literally
I might
own
sign
everything.
I might sign up for that right now.
We might have to because first of all, like I said, one of the things that's coming out as soon as they release it is Spider-Man: Far From Home is going to be available on there. That's not even technically. I mean, it's available right now, but they're going to release that. You'll be able to watch that movie if you haven't seen it yet. And then, like I said, they literally own everything now. So you're going to be able to get all the Fox. They own 20th Century Fox now. So all the Fox movies are going to probably be on there. Most of them will be cartoons. All the Pixar movies, Zootopia.
They'll probably have Simpsons.
I don't know why I chose Zootopia.
Well, now we know.
That's a good movie.
I love.
I like Zootopia.
I love Zootopia.
Yeah, it was good.
Unfortunately, I think Netflix will be filing for bankruptcy shortly.
I think you're probably right.
You know
man.
what? I can. The only thing, obviously, because I'm such an authority in the minds of finances.
Yeah, right.
I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but it kind of reminds me of like XM had that great idea a decade ago or more now, I guess, about doing this like commercial-free music.
Yeah.
And eventually they started bending and everything. Threw so much money at it because they weren't getting enough subscribers. They paid Howard Stern like an obscene amount of money to get his listeners, and they started to fall under themselves. They started to collapse. They sold like lifetime subscriptions at one point for like pennies on the dollar. And eventually they linked on to Sirius. So like the only thing I could see Netflix doing is selling to somebody.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And they might, and honestly,
collapsing onto someone.
Let's be honest.
Sure that
anyone
would buy it.
I'll tell you one thing. I would not be surprised if Disney just bought Netflix.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Just eats them up.
Disney just bought them. Disney just bought everything. I wouldn't be surprised. They have the money to do it.
The only thing that sucks about that for us as consumers is then we're left with A, less options, and B, we're at the mercy of whatever they want to charge.
Let me ask you a question. I just had this thought right now. How crazy would it be, and do you think I don't even know how it would work feasibly, but what if the two, what I would consider to be two of the biggest websites right now, two of the biggest internet companies right now, if Netflix and Amazon merged, and then you could literally do, like, instead of Amazon Prime, just make it be like one streaming service. Merge Amazon Prime and Netflix. See if you could do that. Amazon's the only other company out there that like compared to Disney has the money and the leverage.
Yeah, and what's so great about
Amazon
is like you get their Prime content.
Yeah.
My wife buys Prime anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just like a bonus for us.
How
you know?
is that? Right. How great is that?
Right. They have such a good thing going.
And you not only you get with Amazon, not only you get their movies and their shows and all the other stuff they have on there, you can order food, you can order
groceries
things for the podcast, you can order Halloween stuff. Yeah. You can do all kinds of things.
Can they find us on Amazon? What?
They can. We're probably going to be filing for bankruptcy now too after spending an exorbitant amount of
on your Master Chief costume
and the judge and this gavel right here. Oh my God, the expenses! The expenses, people. Don't be afraid to visit the Patreon that we haven't built yet.
By the way, that was I don't know how you guys felt, but doing 2 episodes back to back was freaking exhausting.
Oh my God, we were from 8:30
we were all bickering at the end of it.
Yeah, we were at the end. We just had a big brawl.
We just had a meltdown.
We had a meltdown. We had it like there's that big UFC fight this weekend. It's just going to be our fight here that we had.
I was trying to.
I felt so bad when I got home. I was hungry. I was like, my blood sugar is low.
Exactly.
I was trying to like come up with an excuse for why my basement looks completely torn apart.
There you go.
It had to do with us.
We had one of those like Tasmanian devils, like when he gets like,
it was
one
just
of those.
We do all that for you guys, the listeners. See that?
Yeah.
But we put our own health in jeopardy for you guys.
Oh, absolutely. But before we go today, I wanted to just quickly do one more thing.
Something else might be coming out next Friday.
Do you want to do like a song and a dance for everybody?
Well, the song and the dance I do anyway. I mean, I have an Instagram where it's the Joey Tubes song and dance where everyone. I have like 1,000 followers.
All
no,
right.
I'm just kidding. No, I have no.
Are you going to do some impressions for us?
I could do a few.
The impression of? Could you do one impression? I'll do a request. The impression of the guy from Batman.
Bane?
Bane. Can you do a Bane?
I don't even know if I could do it.
Just do one Bane for us.
Bane impression? I was wondering what was that, huh?
Basically, just cover your mouth.
That's all it is, pretty much. That's like, I can
imagine
imagine Tom Hardy was in
your
studio.
cup like that.
I can actually do a sick Joaquin Phoenix impression.
Yeah?
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. There we go.
I just have to sit here until I lose 50% of my overall body weight.
Yeah,
Just watching me as it happens.
Well, we're going to be sitting here a long time.
Or grow a really long beard and just become like a huge rapper or whatever. Anyway, but yeah, one thing I wanted to do is, like Rob said, there's another big thing coming out. Talking about all these big releases in the entertainment industry. As you can see, we have 2 little props up today, 2 little PS4 video games, and it's kind of like there's another big PS4 game coming out, and it's next Friday. Literally years and years in waiting is a game called Death Stranding, and it is Hideo Kojima, who is easily one of the best video game directors of all time, video game developers of all time. He has created the Metal Gear Solid series. He created the Silent Hill series, and he's probably revolutionized gaming in his own way. He had a falling out with Konami, and he has not made a video game in, Rob, how long? Like 10 years?
No, he did the 5th.
Right. Oh, yeah, right.
He
Metal
left
Gear
2015,
Solid.
I think. He left Konami.
Yeah, right.
And then he made Kojima Studios.
Which is what but Death
Which, as
Stranding,
an aside, have you ever heard about his studio itself? I heard it's like, it's got like passages and crap in it,
Really?
and all kinds of secret stuff.
I'm not surprised to hear that.
In the studio itself, I heard it's sick.
Yeah. But, so his game
we
is
have
coming
that
out
too,
Friday.
We do. We have that.
We have that also.
Well, Kojima actually, he gave us what
we will next time you guys.
Designs.
Next time you guys come, I'll make sure I have all that done. All right.
Yeah, perfect. That sounds good.
All right.
But that's coming out on Friday. It's a great game. I'm super looking forward to it. I'm sure Rob is as well.
Yeah, I definitely want to see what it's all about.
Yeah, me too.
All his weird little like movie skits with Norman Reedus, I guess, is the main guy, right?
Norman Reedus, who's from Walking Dead. He plays Daryl on The Walking Dead. He's the main character of the game. The graphics look unbelievable, look out of this world. It looks like Norman Reedus. Like, if we can put up a little picture of just the main character, I'll throw up a picture.
You remember Norman Reedus, right?
You remember Daryl in Walking Dead?
Yeah.
Daryl from Walking Dead.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah. But besides that, I'm sorry, Rob, go ahead.
No. I was just wondering what your opinion is, Joey. Do you think, is the hype train too much already? You know, it's been talked about and spoken about and broken. They'll watch like a 10-second clip that he'll release. And they'll have an hour video just explaining this 10-second clip and all the Easter eggs.
It's like with No Man's Sky. Remember that?
Oh, God, we know how that ended.
Collapse, complete.
No man bought.
Complete failure. No man bought. I like that.
Oh Lord, yeah,
dude, I don't know. So the reviews have started coming out, and unfortunately, they're not quite as good as I think people thought. And now, granted, the biggest complaint I'm hearing is that this is the first time that Kojima has been completely no holds barred, nothing holding him back, completely
no reining him in,
free reign to be able to do whatever he wants to do. So the story of the game seems a little overly convoluted, a little bit, and just a little bit it's kind of hard to follow. It's not really greatly developed. Now, this is just from what I'm reading. I have not experienced it myself, but the gameplay apparently is amazing. The graphics are out of this world insane. So I'm looking forward to it. I know the average reviews right now are somewhere in the vicinity of 7 to 8, somewhere right around there, which is still solid good. But I think everyone was expecting 10 out of 10, game of the year, all this stuff like that.
There were so many expectations. It's so hard to how do you live up to those expectations?
Exactly.
Plus, like you said, Joe, I think you hit it on the head. It's I think. And I'm not saying Konami, but whoever, somebody had to rein him in a little bit.
Oh, for sure.
Because some of those ideas, even in his more orthodox releases, the Solid Snakes,
Solid Metal Gear.
I heard some of the things he was doing during that, some of his ideas, We got to pull that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't make any sense.
Exactly.
And he's just like, is that a day one buy for you? What are you going to do?
I think I might wait a little bit. So I have one friend who's like obsessed with him. I'm going to let him play it. He's going to let me know how it is. And if he loves it, I'll know that it's a good game because he's like a Kojima diehard fan.
Like a aficionado there.
Huge. So I luckily have that. So I'll let you know what his review is.
Let him know about these 2 games that we got for our props. These are great games
right here. We got 2 games. I'm sure everyone knows these 2 games. We have one of the greatest series of video games ever created, which is Resident Evil. We have Resident Evil 2. This is the remake, right?
Yeah, I would say remake is okay to say because it still follows the story beats, but it's totally overhauled in terms of like graphics.
Yes.
The overarching story is the same, but there are minor changes even in that.
Yeah, 100%.
And it looks awesome.
Does it? I can't. I'm so excited to play it. So Rob brought it over. The reason why they're here is because I wanted them. It's not for you guys. It's for me. It's just for me. And then the other one, of course, is a Game of the Year contender. Unfortunately, did not win, but that's Red Dead Redemption 2. And Red Dead Redemption 2, obviously, I mean, that the name sort of just immediately know what it is. Red Dead Redemption was a Game of the Year winner, one of the best games of all time. This game was an amazing game.
Didn't that come out like
People
last
loved
year?
it. Came out, I believe, last year. And
because I remember the fantasy footballers
everybody
talked about
everybody.
That's what I'm saying. Crosses over barriers.
South Park did an episode on Red Dead Redemption 2.
Did they really?
Yeah, they really.
I might
it
have to
was
start
hilarious.
watching some of these.
Yeah.
I still want to watch the one that you guys were telling me about. It sounds so funny, but it's like you were saying, there's so much content
there's so
to
much.
consume.
There's so much content to
like
consume.
Red Dead, I'm looking forward to you and enjoying it. I like maybe I'll come over and hang out with you guys, but it was too big for me. Too big. I don't have that kind of time.
Huge game, man.
Yeah.
But so I mean, those are 2 great games, and Death Stranding coming out November 8th, which is next Friday or this coming Friday. So be sure to check it out if you have a PS4. It is a PS4 exclusive now. Apparently, in summer of next year, they're going to be releasing it on PC.
Oh,
so you
no
can
kidding.
get it on PC. Yeah,
I would
so
think you got to have
thing.
that, even if you got that Pro PS4. From what I understand, that like you said, the graphics are like mind blowing. Apparently,
it's going to be amazing.
You've switced more to PC playing.
I'm
now,
PC
right?
player now. I
Because
built a computer not too long ago.
He has a beautiful Xbox One X.
Yep. Well, I used to have it. My brother and I kind of share it, but yeah.
And then you have a PS4 or
PS4 Pro. I do have the PS4
you have
Pro.
The PS4
yes.
Pro.
Yeah,
so
which
that's
is amazing.
What's in your room right
Oh,
now.
you do have the Pro.
Yeah,
Okay.
PS4 Pro, and it is
So
unbelievable.
But he doesn't.
So you
you
play
don't
nice.
use it as much.
And you got a
I've
nice
been
TV.
playing it a lot. You know when I started playing recently, I was telling to Brian, I started playing MLB the show.
The show, baby.
I would
And
do
that's a
so many
great
things
show.
to get that game.
Yeah.
Dude, the
it's
show is
amazing.
amazing.
It's
I don't play
amazing.
baseball that much anymore, like the video games or whatever, but there's no competition. It's
But
by
he
far
makes-
the best game.
He makes super. I saw him.
He's back to his Super Madden teams.
Super
This goes
baseball
way
team.
back,
Listen,
people.
it's not Super Team, okay? I
Super
change
mega
all
teams.
of the settings to make my fastballs 110 miles an
Yeah,
hour.
and-
That's what
That's
I
good.
do, okay? Let's be fair, okay? My guys are not super strong, but I also make it so the CPU settings are set to they can't hit a single
And then I
pitch.
just walked in his room. I walked in.
I still do it. I literally
We're
still
getting
do
so
it.
carried away. But
And it does.
for those of you at
And
home
it-
that don't know, this goes way back when we all used to get together at my friend Joe's house, and Joey would beat us down all these games, having mega teams and
Yeah, he
crap.
had mega teams.
And then they check the settings in the rosters and like, wait, are all
He'd
you
have
guys
everyone's-
99 overall?
Yeah. And I walked in when you were doing the game, and he was making himself the pitcher in the thing.
Yeah.
Because he can make the play.
Yeah, yeah.
Road to the show and everything.
So
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
It's amazing.
yeah,
And he
so
made it
cool.
look just like
Yeah.
him. And the only difference in him, the face was like pretty much looked like
Yeah.
Joey, except the guy was 10 feet tall.
Yeah, and he was
And
all
he weighed
muscle,
like 700 pounds.
and he could throw a
And he-
910 mile an hour
Yeah.
fastball.
So wait a
Yeah.
minute. So
No,
you guys
he
are
was-
telling me that he already has a history of making whatchamacallits of himself? Holograms of
Yeah,
himself?
no, he is a hologram.
This really speaks to
He's
earlier.
he is
curious.
a what do you call those? An enigma, right?
An enigma.
He's a conundrum and an
You're an
enigma.
enigma,
He's a
Josh.
This
riddle to
show, this
everybody.
show is becoming.
Well, we went off
It
the
is, but-
rails.
No, but
we got
Right.
we went off the
Anyway.
rails. People have hung up on us.
All
There's
right, it's-
done.
He's a hologram and a hologram.
That's what it is.
It's
I'm a
Inception.
dream within a dream.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, I hope you guys enjoyed the show, enjoyed watching us and everything like that, enjoyed the games. I hope you watch some of those shows that we recommended. Check out some of those shows. Check out that
They're worth it.
movies.
They're really good.
Besides that, if you want, you can send us some messages to our Gmail or an email. Let us know how your fantasy teams are doing this year. If you're kind of surprised about your league, if you're doing really well, if you're not doing as well as you thought, let us know in those comments down below. You can send us a message wherever you want. Besides that,
And I'll send you all the best picks. Believe
there
me.
you go. And Dad will hit you up with all the
All the ones you
tips
weren't
and
thinking
tricks
about.
you need.
Yep.
And
Brian just passed out on us.
Brian is now done. And anyway, guys, we will see you guys next time. Take care.
See
Peace
ya.
out.
Bye.